Hello there fellow lensfare and camera shackers, my name is Rick Murray and welcome back to another episode of my trip in Japan. Today I'm going to be traveling out to Sensoji Temple, which is a Buddhist temple located not far from my hotel. Now as usual I could take public transport, but I decided to go for a walk to take in the sights and the sounds, and just as I suspected, it was purely spectacular. So once I arrived at the entrance of the temple, it was a little bit under construction, which was okay, but one thing that was interesting was that everything was closed and it was really quiet and kind of peaceful to just sort of stroll around at more than waddling speed, just to take in the nearby streets and sights and even smells. It was really, really peaceful actually. I really enjoyed it. Now once I got to the main temple, I did sort of shut off my camera as I suspected you weren't allowed to film inside the building, and so I wanted to respect that. So I sort of went in, had a little bit of a look around. I had no idea what I was doing because everything was written in Japanese. And then I turned around, came back outside, and then suddenly the whole area was filled with people. But there were still more little shrines and little gardens and stuff like that for me to go and explore, so I decided to sort of walk around and really just enjoy the sights, which were really, really peaceful to just sort of stroll through and just enjoy everything, really. So after spending about an hour in this little shrine area, I decided to head to the marketplace, which was closed on the way to this shrine, and I've got to say it was busy, but the smells were amazing. Just being overwhelmed by like the smells of bakery and pancakes and ice creams, and it was just amazing. So after spending the morning here in the Sensuji Shrine, I met up with Tim and the two of us ventured out to Shibuya to check out the world famous Shibuya crossing. So we jumped on a train and made our way in there. After a short ride on the train, we got ourselves off at the Shibuya train station and made our way to the Shibuya crossing. And it was just as amazing as all the Japanese anime I've ever seen. So, after crossing the Shibuya crossing a couple of times, we decided to head on out to a nearby park and temple not far from where we were. So once we arrived to the park, we had a quick break, but then we sort of went walking around. Now, unfortunately, I changed the lenses on the camera, and I had not realized until at the end of the day that the lens that I switched does not have a stabilization feature on it. So unfortunately, the next few footages are going to be super shaky. Sorry. Now, we didn't hang too long in this park as it did feel a bit like a typical city botanical gardens, but we did decide to make our way over to the nearby temple, and the sights that greeted us there were more than spectacular. So after spending a lot of time and today walking, my feet were killing me and I needed a break. So we decided to head back to the Shibuya area to get ourselves some food. And because the sun was starting to set, the lighting on the city was starting to look amazing. Now, even though I refused to have Western-styled food while I was here in Japan, I couldn't help myself but to try Wendy's, as Wendy's is a brand we do not have in Australia, and this was my first time trying a Wendy's burger. And I gotta say, it's really delicious. Holy crap. So after we had lunch, we made our way back to Asakusa, and the timing was perfect. Because the sun was positioned in the sky to give us this orange glow, the sights that we came across were purely amazing. Now, before I wrapped up for the night, I decided to quickly drop off some of my stuff and make my way back to the Sensoji Shrine to take a look at what it looks like at night. And just as I suspected, the sights there were amazing. So before I left, I decided to give this fortune thing a try, which requires you to make a 100 yen donation, and then you shake this metal box until a wooden stick comes out with a number on it. Now the numbers are written in kanji, which is perfectly fine since I can actually read numbered kanji. I got the number 60, so I simply had to go and look for the number 60 drawer and pull out a piece of paper which had my fortune on it. I got a small fortune, which was actually a really nice fortune. Tim, though, on the other hand, he got bad fortune, which meant that he had to tie his fortune at the temple for the temple to take care of his bad luck, which he sort of felt like as though he was already suffering from, as his SD card earlier today had corrupted itself. So after that, we went our separate ways and returned to our hotel, as we were pretty exhausted from all the walking we did. But just like the previous video, I thought I would show you guys all the little goodies I picked up during the day. I'm not exactly sure what these cards are. I picked these up at one of the arcades while in Shibuya, and I thought, well, it's free, so So I decided to pick up a little souvenir for my parents. This one I picked up at the markets in the morning, and I thought it was a really nice cool little fridge magnet that showed like pretty much the temple or the shrine that I was at, which is really, really cool. Had some nice detail to it as well. So another thing that I picked up on the way home was this Gabanon drink, which looked kind of interesting. It looked like a vanilla, lime, and strawberry drink, and I had to give it a try. And when I opened up the can, one thing that surprised me was the actual texture of the drink. And I gave it a try, and it was actually really nice. I ended up buying a few of these during my entire stay. Now, there was another thing that I got from 7-Eleven that Tim told me tasted like shit. So, naturally, I went and bought it to give it a try. And, yeah, just take a look at... So, when I peeled this plastic away, I was instantly hit with this disgusting smell. The best way for me to describe it is imagine off milk or cheese mixed with salt. And even like the amount of stringiness that this stuff had on it would stretch even beyond where the camera could... it's disgusting. However, when I did taste it, it was still disgusting. Like, it tasted really, like, the texture of it was just slimy and sticky. The flavor of it was super salty, and it had a horrible aftertaste. Unfortunately, I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, I can see that, you know, some people could like this kind of flavor if you got used to it. Like, it wasn't overly disgusting, but it was pretty close to ugh for me. But I'm pretty sure if I got used to that kind of flavor, I might enjoy it, but yeah, no, yeah. And I would not realize this, but the flavor would stick with me for at least the rest of the night, and it was ugh.